Welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life as a military wife, and with all the craziness going on, it is easy to get caught up in it and feel frustrated or that you can't do much about it. But also, with the holidays coming, this is an opportunity to look outward and maybe give. And so we're going to talk about giving and gratitude because it's November, it's Thanksgiving month. So let's focus on something proactive. As always, I'm your host, Sam Wolf, and you're listening to Life of a Military Wife. So, as sometimes happens, I've got Bubby with me this episode. So if you hear noises, that's because I've got a little partner today. But in regards to what I was saying, with this being the beginning of the holiday season and the opportunity to really focus on what good we can do in the world, especially with everything going on, I wanted to just talk about giving and gratitude and some other things as well. So, starting off, if you are a military family and you are struggling and you're needing help for the holidays, I've done a whole episode on different organizations nationally that give aid to military families, or if you're wanting to give aid to military families, I've got some great organizations that I talked about. But again, instead of rehashing all of those again this year, like I have talked about them in previous years, I will just link in the description to those episodes so you can go back and review those. But I just, again, thinking about gratitude and giving and all of as much as there are times I feel like we're struggling, military families are very often not doing well off. We don't join the military to become rich. And oftentimes things can be tight, especially with the economy the way it is. But even with all of that, we are so blessed and have so many things to be grateful for, far and above what so many have. And we can give back as well. And so I kind of want to talk about that attitude of gratitude and looking for ways to be proactive and find ways to help in your own local community or with organizations that are reputable that you respect. So for us, I just want to say, like I've mentioned before, I'm super grateful for the Trees for Troops program that's put together by FedEx and for all of the people who donate to that program. That is how we have managed to get a Christmas tree for most of our military experience. And I am super grateful for that. I love having a live Christmas tree. And with how much we move as military families, it's not always practical to have a whole lot of Christmas decorations, just for weight limits and things like that. So it's a huge blessing, in my opinion, to be able to get a Christmas tree for the holidays. And then I started thinking about there's local organizations that you can reach out to, but maybe you don't know where to go. I have had the privilege of working with and meeting so many different people from so many different organizations over the years, volunteering with the USO, with an organization called Warriors Warehouse. And so, because of that, I have a pretty good grasp of where I can go to find service opportunities for myself and my family, especially because I feel like that's important at Christmas time is to give, not just focus on getting. Especially, I was raised with a mother who really focused on giving. We didn't have a lot, but that was huge to her. So we would doorbell ditch treats on people's houses. We would do the 12 days of Christmas. We would do what we could with the little we had. We'd go Christmas caroling and give people cookies. That was just the culture I was raised with. And I want that for my children, no matter where we end up living. Yeah. Yeah, you gonna say hi? Okay. Anyway, that was little girl. Um, Wherever we're living, I want my children to have that similar focus when it comes to Christmas time of giving and sharing and thinking of others and hopefully making the world a little bit better place. Hopefully, we do this all year round, but you know what? If it only happens once a year, at least it's happening. So, that said, I wanted to talk about a particular website that I have found useful. It is called justserve.org. And one of the best parts about justserve.org is it does a lot of the hard work for you. It will give you lists of service projects in your area. You can even add different specifications. If you want to volunteer remotely, they have those options as well. And so you just go, you type in your area and it'll give you stuff, and then you can put even search by keywords, so you can look for specific things, like if you want to work at a homeless shelter or with a food pantry or a soup kitchen or whatever you're looking for particularly. The other great thing about Just Serve is if you happen to work with an organization that is needing volunteers any time of the year, but especially at Christmas time, you can get onto Just Serve and you can fill out the information and submit the information for the service project and get help with that service project, which I think is fabulous. And the funny thing is, I've known about this website for years, like quite literally, I think 6 or 7 years. And I somehow managed to forget to tell some of the organizations I work with that I help them find volunteers. I help coordinate volunteers for service projects in my community, just because I'm so grateful for the help we've received. I want to help others as much as we can. Anyway, I recently realized I hadn't told them about Just Serve, and so I shared this website with them, and they were super excited because it'll help make getting those volunteers specifically for organizations that I work with that help military families. They were excited because a lot of the volunteers they get are military spouses, but because we move around all the time, they are constantly having to find a new base of volunteers. And so this will help them out significantly. So, in addition to that, and I mentioned this, I believe, last year, or at least I think I've mentioned this before, but it's something I want to touch on again. There's another thing, it's called the Giving Machines, and they're part of the Light the World campaign. They have giving machines all over the world, and we were so lucky to have one not super close, but about an hour away from our house. And so last Christmas, bundled the kids up, went, did some things nearby there, and then also went to the giving machine and then let the kids pick what they wanted to donate. And my kids had so much fun looking at all the options. So in the giving machine, they have pictures of different items like medical supplies, goats for families in countries where that can help them produce milk and cheese for themselves, ducks, chicken, all sorts of different things. And my kids settled on ducks. They wanted to give a family a duck because they thought that was a fabulous idea. I mean, of course, what elementary age children wouldn't think a duck was a brilliant Christmas present? So that was what they chose, and I really thought it was cute and adorable, and it was fun letting them pick what they wanted to give. Now, there were more expensive items that obviously were out of our budget, and there were less expensive items in our budget, so we kind of was, and luckily they had it, like, categorized from, like, more expensive, I think, to less expensive or something. So we were able to say, "Okay, of this area, what do you want to donate?" And the kids were able to discuss it, and it was a really great experience, so much so that when we talked about giving and how our family is gonna try to give back this Christmas season, that was the first thing talked about by the kids is, "Oh, hey, let's go back to that machine and buy someone a duck again." And I'm like, "Okay, we can go to the giving machines again." Um, Maybe we'll get something besides a duck this year, but I mean, if we get a duck, we'll get a duck. But it was just such a wonderful opportunity. And it's been wonderful to see the enthusiasm in my kids to want to give and the joy of giving back to the community we live in and to just in general. I'm really so grateful for these wonderful communities that have military installations and how much they love and embrace military families, especially around the holidays. We can't always get home. We can't always be home for the holidays. And to be adopted by these communities, to feel that outpouring of love and support is just completely hard to describe how wonderful that feeling is, especially as a parent to see your kids be loved and doted on. It just means a lot, and it has meant a lot to us. And so, as a result of that, we have tried to do our best to give back to the communities we are in so that they can understand how much we appreciate and value them and what they have done for our family and for all the military families in their community and area. And that kind of goes into some of the things we like to do because I've continued a lot of those traditions of doorbell ditching and 12 days of Christmas. We still do 12 days of Christmas with our kids. Every year we pick a family, usually a military family with young children who aren't going to be able to make it home for Christmas. And then we'll also just go Christmas caroling and doorbell ditch treats and stuff at people's houses. I we called it doorbell ditching. And I tried explaining it to my husband when we first got married. He's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, elfing." And I'm like, "What?" And they called it elfing in his family. So everyone's got a different word for it. And when we first moved on post, I was a little concerned that that might be against the rules. Like we might get in trouble with the MPs for doorbell ditching treats at people's houses. So luckily we had a friend who was an MP and I called him up. I'm like, "Hey, will I get in trouble if?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, if it's a treat, if you're doing something nice, you're not going to get in trouble." Because I was worried about heart attacking and different things that I've grown up doing as a way to express love and concern for people. And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, no, that's fine. You're good." But yeah, that was something I had to worry about because living on post, things are just a different military installations just have a slightly different subset of rules than, normal communities. But typically those sorts of things are great. The other thing we have done on occasion when we've been able to is to bring treats or goodies to the guards at the installation. Um, Usually it's like an already done pie, like, something so they can go and have pie on Thanksgiving in their office for those who are having to work. I had a friend, she would get hot chocolate for the, MPs, just, different sorts of things. And I love that because the MPs, especially the soldiers on the gates, they're giving up time with their families on the holidays so that they can protect and serve our community. And so reaching out and doing something nice for them has always been something that has come to my mind and something I've considered. So that's really where I'm at is there really is just so much going on in this world that is sad and frustrating and scary and hard to deal with. But as I've talked about in previous episodes, there are so many ways to give back. There are so many ways to put your money where your mouth is and do something. We don't have to just sit back and feel like bystanders with absolutely no control over the world and the situations we live in. We can make a difference. We can make our communities better. We can do something. We can be proactive. We can find the needs in our own community and help meet them. And we can help find good, reputable organizations and causes worldwide and do what we can. Maybe all you can give is $5. Maybe all you have time for is baking some cookies and taking them to a neighbor. You know what? Anything, anything makes a difference. And if we want the world to be better, we need to be the good we want to see in the world. If you want to see good in the world, be it. Be that good you want to see in the world. And that is something that is very near and dear to my heart. I really feel like it is important to try to make a difference as best as you can. And everybody has different circumstances and abilities and skills. And so, what our family chooses to do to give back and make a difference is going to be different than what you and your family choose to do to give back and make a difference. But that's kind of what I want to talk about. And the theme I want to kind of have this whole month is being grateful. Gratitude and recognition for the blessings we have, and then doing something about it. And so, in kind of recognition of that, I'm going to be doing something atypical for my podcast in the month of November. Each week from here on out is going to be dedicated to spotlighting a veteran. Our veterans have done so much for our country, and the military. We have this country because of volunteers, because of people who chose to stand up and to fight in the Revolutionary War and to defend our nation throughout its history. And because of those people, we have the freedoms we have today. We have the ability to have Thanksgiving, to have these holidays, to have the freedom of speech, to live in relative prosperity compared to so many because of the freedoms that were won by those who've served our country. And so I'm going to be interviewing several individuals who have served various different backgrounds, different time periods in which they have served, and see why they chose to serve, what they did while they were in the service, the military service, and what they are doing now. And just to kind of give them a spotlight, give them an opportunity to share their story with all of you. And I'm really excited about this. I have been trying to find a wide selection, or at least a selection of varying individuals with different stories so that we can get a variety of perspectives on military service and life after the military. And I'm really grateful for those who've taken the time to do these interviews with me and make this a possibility. I am so grateful for all of the incredible people who have mentored my family throughout our military experience. And as I have mentioned in the past, and will hopefully continue to point out, the whole point of this podcast is to help share what I have learned, share the skills and abilities I have with the military community and others in general so that I can give back. I've had so many people explain how to navigate deers and TRICARE and all of those other wonderful military nuggets of life experience. And if I can make a resource for new military spouses to share those things and to help explain what's going on in the military community, what I can do to help, then that's the whole point of what I'm trying to do here. So that's a lot of the previous backlog of episodes. Again, this podcast has been going on for years, and I really do try to make it a fair balance of my skill set, which is as a person who's got a bachelor's in science and family life science. And so I've got some experience and expertise in interpersonal relationships and that sort of thing, as well as then current events and stuff that affect military, how to navigate those, and also just how to navigate military life in general. So I'm really excited about this month and what's coming up. Uh, this year just went so fast, and it feels like every time I think I know where this is going to go, um, something amazing happens in this journey. So thank you all for joining me for this wild ride that is military life. And thank you for all of the incredible people I have been able to interview this year and have on the podcast to share their stories and experiences, as well as the resources they can help provide for military families. That said, I'm going to wrap up this week and just say, yeah, think about an attitude of gratitude. Think about with the holidays coming, how you can give back and all of the blessings that you have. And as awkward as it is, my husband absolutely finds it completely awkward to be thanked for his military service. He finds it awkward. I am super proud every time he gets thanked because I appreciate the recognition for the sacrifice our family has made and that the choices my husband has made matter to people. And it means a lot to me to know that there are people in our country who appreciate the sacrifices military families and military service members are making. Because sometimes it doesn't always feel that way. And so it's nice to hear. So as awkward as it is for all of those veterans, please thank a veteran. It'll make their day, even if they act awkward. So I'm going to wrap it up there for this week. As always, I'm your host, Sam Wolf, and you're listening to Life of a Military Wife.